Hey y'all, welcome to my channel. This morning I decided to bake bread, and I took a recipe from my favorite cookbook, Southern Sampler, Martha White Southern Sampler, 90 Years of Baking Tradition. And what I'm going to make is a homemade white bread, and it calls for the package of dry yeast, which I have that already in warm water, and I've set it aside. At the moment, set that book back down. I am heating up some milk. This recipe calls for 2 cups of scalded milk, so I've got that on the stove, heating it up. I don't know about the scalding part because I just don't know. I don't think I want it sticking to the pan. I think I want it just about to where it's a thick consistency possibly. So anyhow, now I need to add in to my big bowl, because I have that boiling, cooking on the stove, 3 tablespoons of sugar. I have my tablespoon here. And I'm going to put white sugar. 1 tablespoon of salt. Let's set the salt over here behind the milk. 1 tablespoon. In goes the salt. Next, it calls for 3 tablespoons of shortening. And the shortening I have on hand is a liquid. Let me stir this pan of milk here. And it sort of kind of feels like it's sticking to the bottom of the pan, so I'm going to turn that heat off and continue stirring some of this milk in here. And it's hot, and the recipe says 2 cups of milk scalded. Dissolve the yeast in a measuring cup with warm water, set aside. Combine the hot milk, sugar, salt, and shortening in a large bowl. So here goes the milk. The milk. And we're going to go get my shortening. So, let's see what that is right there. I see a floating object that doesn't belong. Okay. All right, let me go get the shortening. Keep that over here in this pantry. I'm glad you joined in this video. I hope you like it and you want to see more videos. Leave a comment below. So this 3 tablespoons of shortening will go into this mix. The mix consists of, so far, milk, sugar, salt, and the shortening. That's 1, 2, 3 tablespoons. Okay. Ready? Set that in the sink. Just right. This is my yeast I had mixed in warm water and set it aside. We're getting ready to pour that in. It says now, this combination of hot milk, sugar, salt, and shortening, we're gonna stir that and cool. To lukewarm. Because of the hot scalded milk was in there. Now I understand. Cool to lukewarm. I love homemade bread. So does my husband. This was just a homemade white bread. I believe it will turn out like a sandwich bread. We'll see. Okay. Got that mixed well, okay. Let that cool. And while that's cooling, I'm going to go ahead and measure out 5 to 5.5 cups of Martha White all-purpose flour. If you don't have Martha White brand on hand, you know, you feel free to use any brand that you prefer. And you can use a wheat flour too if you want. Gluten-free, just whatever you have on hand. I like baking. So I'm telling you guys a little bit about my pet treat shop. I have been making dog treats since 2018. And I have not had any complaints from my customers. I know they're pets, but the moms try them too because the ingredients are what I have in my pantry, human grade ingredients. Safe for all of us. And everything is sugar free. Not too high in calories for your dogs. Medium. I just recently started putting nutrition labels on my packaging because it took me some time to research that part. It's a lot of work to running your small business, but it's definitely worth it. I love every minute of it, especially the decorating part. And my partner in crime over here loves the sampling. So let's get out the measuring cup, and we're going to get out 5 cups of flour. Continue narrating. You might hear some music starting to play in the background. Okay, so now this is cooled off some, and we're going to stir in our yeast. Wait, blend in 2 cups of flour. Let's go the way it tells us to here. We're going to blend 2 cups in first. I want to sift this around a little bit. If you will take a whisk in a wire wet whisk or silicone or even a fork. Something to sift your flour with before you add it into your recipe. That helps air expand into your flour. You need just a little tip, whether you want to do it or not. I like to do it, especially when it comes to baking, because hey, I want my stuff to expand there. Okay, so we're gonna add 2 cups of flour right now to this mixture. And the recipe over here says after we've added our flour in, we're going to add the yeast in. This will be fun, because I love to mix dough and knead it. That's a healthy thing to do. I told you I like I like splashing in mud puddles. I think that's healthy too. Okay, there go my 2 cups of flour. Just toss that right back over there. So we've added our flour. Blend this in. Then we're going to stir in that yeast. So just blend this in. I need to get a bigger device just to blend with. It's working right now. You know, sometimes even with this recipe, I don't believe I'll do it today, but sometimes you can take a fruit, canned fruit, or a fresh fruit, chop it, dice it, process it in your food processor, make it a puree, add you some fruit to your bread, make something, a sweeter bread. We're going to, blend in 2 cups of flour, stir and dissolve yeast. Okay. This is my yeast that has dissolved. See? Stir this in. Where are you from? What city are you from? Or what country were you watching my channel today? Thank you for watching. So we're stirring in the dissolved yeast. Next it says to add enough of the remaining flour to make a stiff dough. Because as you can see, we have a watery dough at the moment. Let me stir. Oh, I can smell a bread smell already, which is basically the yeast. But anyway, it smells good. So we're going to add some more dough or flour to this bowl. Get it a little bit thicker consistency. We're going to go a cup at a time. We have 2 cups in right now. Three and a half. Well, I'm not worried about counting because I have 5.5 cups in that flour bowl. Well, the fun begins once we get this thicker, and I can get it out and knead it and roll it and pat it. Buddy's reaction. He's being real quiet back there. Now, can you see Buddy on the towel? No, he's not on the towel, he's on his rug. Just keep stirring it. Add some more flour. Makes it a little easier turning the bowl with this silicone covered whisk. I'm going to get my spoon out in just a second here. Now we're getting a little different consistency. I believe what I'm going to do is add in the rest of this flour all in one. Like I have about 1.5 cups left. That way I'll be further along in my process here. It's feeling better with the turning this. Oh, so did anybody get any hurricane activity or the tropical storm effects in your town? Over here in Northwest Tennessee, nothing was noted other than just watching the weather forecast and seeing what was going on in the country, what others were experiencing. So, hope everyone is marked safe and sound if you did go through the hurricane. I think it may land bomb somewhere. Device here called a scraper, cake scraper. Get put back in there. You hear me rattling around over here. I'm looking for a device I like to use to scrape the bowl with. I'm not seeing it here. There. I did see it. I found it. It's this right here. A handy dandy tool. Alright, y'all, it says now we're going to turn the dough out onto a lightly floured board or pastry cloth. Cover with the bowl and let rest for 10 minutes. Take my rings off. So, we're going to make sure this is blended, and then I'm going to turn it out on the floured surface and cover it with this bowl. That's what it instructions on the recipe say call for. So let's see how that works out. Here my lightly floured surface is over here on this countertop. You see me over here, right there. Okay. Over there. Set you guys up there. Oh. Lightly floured, heavily floured. So anyway, we're gonna lay it on there. still have some loose flour in this bowl, so I'm going to get in there with my hands. Toss it around. And that bread is warm. I used a package of active dry use about a month ago, and I didn't check the expiration date. And expiration date has a whole lot to do with the quality of your yeast when you activate it with the water. Well, anyway, my bread rose, but it failed the taste test. It was not the quality that I wanted it, and so I looked at the package and the expiration date, and that's where it said it had expired. About a year and a half ago, from the date that was on the label. It was almost 2 years old, so it does recommend that you do not use yeast after its expiration date. It's best that you only use it when it's in date. So here with my dough, let's see what I need to do. Turn dough out onto a floured board or pastry cloth. Covered bowl and let rest for 10 minutes. So I'm going to leave it alone. I'm wanting to play in it already, and I'm not supposed to. But no, you cover that up. And my nose is itching of all time, so I hope that doesn't mean company's coming while I'm trying to bake my bread. You can come see me after my baking is done. I don't mind then. Okay. All right. So we're gonna go turn the timer on for 10 minutes. Okay. 10-minute timer. From there, after the 10 minutes, we'll come back. It tells me to, after 10 minutes of letting it rest, knead your dough until smooth and elastic for 6 to 8 minutes, or at least until when it's smooth and elastic texture. Then you'll place your dough in large greased bowl, turn once to grease top, cover and let rise in warm draft-free area until doubled in bulk. Leave it like that for an hour and a half. Then you'll punch the dough down, let it rest for 10 minutes, divide it in half, shape each half into a loaf, place in 2 greased 9 by 5 by 3 inch or an 8.5 by 4.5 by 2 inch loaf pan. Cover and let rise in a warm draft-free area until doubled in bulk, about an hour. Preheat oven to 400, bake for 15 minutes. Reduce strip temperature to 300 Fahrenheit and bake for 20 to 25 minutes or until loaves are golden brown and sound hollow when tapped. Remove from pans. Place on wire rack. Brush with melted butter or your flavor of whatever you like to brush it with of your choice. Honey butter. I've made honey butter before. I've made cinnamon honey butter. You make seasoning and your own spices and sauces at home. You can also make some and marketing them. Take them to the farmer's market or vending show and make your jars look real pretty and get your sauces done and labeled and whatnot and sell them. And there's a lot of people that will buy it because they don't want to make that themselves. And if they trust you or know your quality and quantity of work, people will buy from you. I know a lot of people in my town, in my large county, only consists of 3 towns, but majority of the population are Amish and Mennonites. And they tend to market and sell a lot of things, different products, you name it, and they got it going on. So you heard me doing my dishes right there. I can't stand dishes. I won't do that again in another video. Learn by doing, but anyway. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave for now. Finish this rest in it. I'm going to finish out the recipe to you. So this bread is covered with a bowl, like I said, on a lightly floured surface. My timer is going for 10 minutes. I'll uncover that bread from under that bowl. Knead the dough until smooth and elastic, 6 to 8 minutes. Then I'll place the dough in a large greased bowl. Turn once to grease the top. Cover that dough in that bowl with a nice kitchen towel, clean towel, and let it rise in a warm, draft-free area until doubled in size, about an hour and 30 minutes. What I have heard and I've seen my grandmother do is she heats her oven up, and I'm going to do that right now while I'm thinking about it. She heats her oven up to about 300. Okay, for about 15 minutes she'll heat her oven up. She'll turn the oven off, and now she has a warm oven. She has a warm spot in the house that's draft free, because guys, it's hot outside and we're running our air conditioner 24/7. Occasionally it does shut off, but it does stay on in the mornings and the night. So I have no area right now that's draft free and warm except this oven. So I have preheated my oven. I'm going to warm it up, turn it off, and then when it's time for me to put this dough, after I'm going to knead it, go back, knead it for 6 to 8 minutes, put it back in a greased bowl, turn it over, so I want to do the top with oil on it, cover that with a towel, put it into the oven, okay, and let it rise for an hour and 30 minutes. Take it out, because the oven's not on, it's just a warm, draft-free area. Take it out of the oven, punch the dough down, let it rest for 10 minutes. Divide that dough in half, shape each half into a loaf. And the simplest way to shape it into a loaf is to have your loaf pan. I use these right here. I'll be using 2 of these. After I've pulled my dough and made a half of it, I'm going to shape it into this. This is going to be greased lightly with some olive oil on the bottom and on the sides, so I don't want any bread to stick. So anyway, I'll grease that now. Have that ready. But if you know anything about prepping, I'm all about prepping. Be ready. So I'm going to shape that dough after it's risen for an hour and a half. And I shape it, pull it apart, make 2 pieces. I'm going to put one section in here, the other section in my other pan, grease the same way as I just did this one for you. We're going to cover them up because it's still not baked yet. We're going to cover them up again and let it rise again in the oven for an hour. Take them out, because we know we've done that for an hour. Now, preheat your oven to 400 degrees Fahrenheit. Bake both of those loaves for 15 minutes. Turn the temperature down to 300. Reset your timer to 20 to 25 minutes. Bake them again at 300 degrees Fahrenheit. They should be golden brown and sound hollow when tapped. Remove them from the pans and just dump them out. Place on wire rack, let it cool for a little bit. 8 to 10 servings each loaf, 2 loaves, and you have homemade white bread. I'll show you the finished product when it's all done. Thank you for watching my video. Come back for more. Have a good day.